So this is part one, and first of all, we will see some basic questions. We will start from basic, and after that, I will also explain some advanced question. We'll go in advance. So basic things we will see because every developer, every React developer should know the basic things, basic theory. So we will start with first question, that is, what is React? So React is basically open source front-end JavaScript library used for building user interface, especially for single page application, and it's handle the view layer for both web and mobile applications. So basically React we use to build a mobile app as well as websites. Okay, and it is created by Jordan Walk. It is a software engineer from Facebook, and after that, after Facebook, Instagram also started to use the React. So this is first question. Second is what is features of React? React features is basically a JSX. JSX means what? HTML plus JavaScript. As we have a JavaScript file and we can write the HTML code in JavaScript file, so that is a JSX. Okay. Then virtual DOM is also one of the feature. In that we have in-memory representation of real DOM, and directly real DOM is not updating. There is some comparison between virtual and real DOM, and only that nodes will update which are actually changed. So this will our performance or response will get fast. So this is one of the important feature of React. Third is server side rendering. It helps for SEO and performance. And next is unidirectional data flow. So one way from parent to child, generally we send the data. And reusability of component, as React is a React is a component base. So we create one component and we can reuse that. So this will because of reusability, we no need to write same logic again and again. So that is also one of the feature of React. Now next question, interviewer can ask what is JSX. So as I already told, HTML plus JavaScript is the JSX. Okay, and as we have already told, we create the JavaScript file, and in JavaScript we can write the HTML code. As here I have written h1 is nothing but tag in HTML. Okay, it is a part of HTML. So basically long form is JSX stand for JavaScript JSX. Okay, so that is JSX, as it is a combination of HTML plus JavaScript, that is a JSX. Okay. Next question is how to create a component. We can create a component by two ways. One is functional and other is a class component. But generally we prefer functional component because from functional component are very easy to create, read, debug, and understand. But we before 16.8 we have some disadvantages. That's why we use that time class component. But nowadays everyone use functional component only. Even I use functional component. Suppose we have some code, the same logic I have written using functional and class component. We need to write just this code when we are using functional component, and instead of that, suppose I am using class component, then I need to write this whole things. Okay, so we can see here functional component are always preferable. It is very clean and understandable code. So generally two ways is there to create a component, but we generally prefer functional component. Next is when to use class and when to use functional. So class versus functional component? So this question also interviewer asks many times. As I have already told, after 16.8 version, we use functional component because after in this version, hooks introduced. Then what is hooks? Hooks is basically we have some already inbuilt uh, logic, inbuilt states, inbuilt things which we can use in functional component. Uh, Generally, we use class component because we required hooks and lifecycle method. So that things provided by hooks. Okay. So that's why after 6.8 version we go with the functional component, and I will also explain what is hooks and what is which hooks are important, like use state, use effect, use ref. So these all are the hooks. Use memo, use callback. These two hooks for memoization. So these all are the hooks I will explain in detail. But now you just remember we generally use the hooks where means functional component where the mm, we don't require life cycle method and uh, state, but nowadays after 16.8 we can use it into the means using hooks we can achieve it in functional component, so we will prefer functional component. But there is one thing, that is error boundary. His equivalent is not available in functional component. Even we nowadays also we are writing error boundary using class component only, because there is no any equivalent available in functional component. Boundary having a methods like get derived state from prop and component uh, uh, get derived state from error and component did catch. These two methods we use in error boundary. Okay, I will repeat it. In error boundary, we use get derived state from error and component did catch. These two methods we use in error boundary. Okay. Now next is, what is pure component? Basically, pure component means what? It renders same output for same input. Suppose we have create one component and we are giving some output, and some output we are giving some input, and for that it is creating some output. Then again second time we have given same input, it is producing same output. So in that case we can say that pure means this is a pure component. Okay, and we can make our component pure by using react.memo. Means we wrap our component in react.memo. Okay, here is example, as we have imported and after that we wrap this component. Okay, so avoid unnecessary rendering by comparing prop. Okay, now next question is, what is state in React? Basically, a state means what? We have a variable, right, in programming. We hold some value in variable. Same way here is a state. So in state we hold some data, some values. Okay. State is built-in object that store dynamic data and re-render the component on change. And we have a syntax that is const, this is state, and this is function to update the state, and this is initial value. Okay, so initial value we can provide anything, and to change this value of state we can use that function that is set state. Okay, so this way to store data internally in component we use the state. Okay, now next question is, what is prop? Prop is basically properties are read only input passed from parent to child component. Means for communication, means something, suppose we want to send data from one component to other component, that time we use props. Okay, and generally we send the data from parent to child, so that is nothing but prop. How we can send it? Like I have given example here. It is one of the child component, and we are sending this, maybe there is some means like, suppose we have some parent component, and in that we are using this child component, and we are passing this name and age to child as a prop, and here it's here is prop is received. We can receive this prop like, here we will just here we will put props, and after that we can use here props dot name, then props dot age, or we can directly use this name or age. So this way we can pass, means either this way or that way. Okay, means directly props dot, here props dot name, props.age, or directly we will destructure here and we will directly use. So this way also we can use. So this is a prop, basically used to send data from one component to other component, and it is immutable. We'll see next question. In that, what is state and what is prop? This is also one of the famous question of interviewer. In that, we can give the definitions as state hold the component data in component has, this is state. Okay, and in that, if any component is there and we want to store this data, that time we will use state. Okay, and we want to pass the data from parent to child or from one component to other component, that time we will use prop. It is mutable, means we can change the value of state. We have a function available, that is state. Using that function we can change the value of state, but we can't change value of prop. It is immutable. Okay, and next is it is controlled by component, and it is controlled by parent. Then internal component logic, for that we use state, and here prop to pass the data, passing the data and configuration. So this way, difference between state and prop. Next is, what is key prop? So key prop is basically, suppose we have a to-dos, that is an array, and we are passing one method, that is prop. Map method we are passing to this array, means we are using map method for this array, and mm, we are doing some operation. So why we use key props? Because we can easily identify the component. Like we can suppose we need to edit the data, we need to delete the data, we need to create data, means what, we need to some element, means array having some elements, right? It's having index. So some element we can delete, we can edit, we can update. So which element all actually changed, edit or delete? So to identify that thing we use key. Okay, so key is very important. If we have not given key, then we'll get warning. Okay, so helps React identify and manage the DOM change effectively. Suppose we have not any ID or something like that, then that in that case we can use index, but it is not recommended because sometimes sequence of element will get changed. In that case there may be occurred a problem. So we generally avoid to provide index as a key. Okay, but we can use it. Now next question is, what is virtual DOM? Virtual DOM is an in-memory representation of real DOM. The React creates a virtual DOM tree. On changes, means state or prop change, then it compares the old and new tree. So it is called as a diffing algorithm, means the virtual DOM works on diffing algorithm. So only the changes part are updated in real DOM. So that whole process is known as a reconciliation process. So that is basically virtual DOM, which is in-memory representation of real DOM. Okay, and next question is controlled component. Controlled component means what? For if means basically interviewer generally asks the question like, what is difference between controlled component and uncontrolled component? So in that uh, form form element where the value is controlled by a React state, then we called it as a controlled component. And generally we generally means prefer the things like the things should be in our control. So generally we prefer that things which is in control with us. So controlled component we generally use. And about uncontrolled component, the form element that maintain their own state internally, means uh, it is generally handled by DOM itself. Okay, so useref is one of the means using useref we are using uncontrolled component. So this is example that I have written here. We can give as we can also means to focus on input field we use the useref. I will explain it in deep by programming. I just giving introduction about these things. What is lifting status? This video I have already made by using means in coding. I have already covered this question. When multiple component needs to share the same data, move the state to their common parent. So that time we use lifting status. What is higher order component? Higher order component is basically what? Sometime there is some component and we are using other component in one component, in that component that so we can say it is higher order component. Basically that it is a function. Higher order component is a function that takes component and return a new component. Okay, one component it takes and returns something new, that is higher order component. And usage is code reuse, logic abstraction, prop manipulation. I will give you some one simple example for higher order component. Like suppose we have a five divs in different means we want background different color for that divs, and in that we will show one counter. And if we want to implement that logic, then that time we can do like that. We will do one thing. We will create one component that is counter, and we in other component we will take multiple divs with different background color, and we just call counter component in that divs. So this will increase our reusability, and we can say that component is a higher order component. So that's all about today, and I have covered 15 questions, and rapidly I have explained the things, and in depth I will take one by one question, and in coding part I will explain whole the things, and prepare well, and best of luck. Bye bye.